Hi everyone, welcome to this edition of Eucharistic Witnesses, an opportunity for you and I to hear from a fellow parishioner, their story, their personal history with Christ among us in the Eucharist. Take a listen.
Hello everyone, I'm Kevin Anderson and this is my wife Carol. We have been parishioners here at St. Thomas ever since we were married in 1988. So we've been part of this parish for a very long time. We're here to give you a little witness on the Eucharist in our lives and kind of how it came to be. I certainly can divide my life into two halves of one before having the Eucharist in my life and one after. I grew up as a baptized, non-practicing Christian where we went to Christmas and Easter services and limited prayer at best. And I had a very rudimentary knowledge of God. And it wasn't until I went to a Jesuit Catholic university where I started to get to know God. And even though my wife did not attend that university, it was there that I met her. And part of our dating routine, she would take me to Mass. She has always been a very devout Catholic woman. And I think that's one of the things, her faith that always drew me to her was what a strong relationship she had with God. And as we grew closer together, so did my own personal relationship with God. And finally, when I asked her to marry me, I made two of the best decisions I think I made in my whole life. One was to support her in her Catholic faith, and two was to raise our children in the Catholic faith and have them attend Catholic schools. I thought I was doing that overall pretty good. I realized that I was kind of going through the motions and it was kind of being done how according to I wanted it done. And there was really two specific events that led to my final conversion in my faith. The first one was when my older brother took his own life. And it was in that moment of tragedy and reflection and prayer and forgiveness and going to God that he came to me very personally, made it very clear what I needed to do with my life. I needed to get my spiritual house in order, and it wasn't an option. It was an obligation to have a relationship with God. And shortly after that, my son Ryan was to receive his first Holy Communion. And in teaching him as a father what our Catholic Church teaches about the true presence of Christ in the Eucharist, the light bulb finally went on. I had been attending church with my wife and kids every week for 13 years, not receiving the Holy Eucharist strictly because of my own beliefs and thoughts. And I finally realized that what an idiot I had been. I've had the blessing and the gift of the Holy Eucharist right before me all this time, and I never took advantage of it. And so finally, I did convert to Catholicism at the age of 40. I haven't taken it for granted since, and it's been something that has really enriched my life. It's made my vocation, my role as a husband, a father, a grandfather, a friend, a boss, a healthcare worker, vastly more clear. It's truly been a blessing, and it wouldn't have happened if I didn't have a faithful, wonderful Catholic woman that helped me get there. And I just want to say also, I think one of the great things that we have available to us here at St. Thomas is we have the opportunity to have adoration with the Holy Eucharist. I have a personal adoration hour I do each week. My wife does as well. It's just a moment that you can just take time out from the rest of the world, and you're just there to be with God. And it's such a blessing that we have for us in our Catholic Church. And the Eucharist is why I came into the Catholic Church, specifically to receive God in the Eucharist. And I can't say enough of how much it has enriched my life as well as our lives together.
How I view it, going through this journey together, is, Kevin came and sat in church for 13 years almost before he converted or whatever. Just from my own personal experience, it's because Jesus is truly present in the Eucharist. Jesus, the person, is absolutely here. And it was the person that actually called Kevin and has called me through my whole life to come and sit in front of him. It is the person of Jesus that calls me, that gives me comfort, that is in the Adoration Chapel, that I can come and talk to. As a kid, I very early on, my mom was sick, and we used to live a half a block from the church, and I used to go to Mass thinking that that was my idea, to go to Mass more often and things like that. But what it was Jesus calling me to him. It was calling me to come to the person of Jesus, to talk to him, to take that place of the parental advice I wanted to talk to him about, or having problems in math, or whatever the issue was. He talked to me as a person. It's not a symbol that calls you to come to him. It is the person in himself. And throughout our journeys and our life together and stuff, you know, just knowing he is here. He's not calling me to go sit under a tree and look at his creation. He's calling me to come to church, to be with him personally, and to be in the Adoration Chapel with him personally, to dry my tears, to share my joys, share our struggles and our good times. So I can't imagine going through life without that belief, without that knowledge, without that blessing that he has given all of us, because we are so blessed, because he loves us so much that he gives himself to us. So that's my story.
Yes. And I just want to say, I just think we have the Eucharist available to us all the time. And like you said, now that I realize, you know, and have made that the true presence in my life, I think we tend to take things for granted. And I think in our Catholic faith, and we have people sitting here in Mass, they take it for granted. And I just wish that we have an awakening when people realize that God is really, truly present with us in the Eucharist, and what a gift it is in our faith.
Amen.
Amen.